Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in to the stream. This is Haunting Hour with me, your host, Hauntingly Krista. I am super excited to be with you tonight. I do apologize. I really hope you guys can't hear. There's some sounds coming from below me. I live in a, I rent a split house. And so we live in like one half of the house and then someone else rents the other half of the house, like a townhouse. And currently the other tenants are singing karaoke. So if you hear like bass or like singing in the distance, I hope you can't. That is what's going on. I do apologize. It is 7 o'clock at night, so I feel weird asking them not to just because I'm doing this. So hopefully it's so like faded and with the webcam and everything, you guys can't hear it. But with that being said, with that little disclaimer, hello, hi. This is Haunting Hour, where every week on Mondays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. EST here on my channel, I talk for an hour about spooky things. Hello, hello. Hi, Harry and Randy. I love you guys as well. We are logged on and so excited to see you in your awesome show. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so every single week for an hour, twice a week, you guys can hang out with me. We'll get spooky. We'll chat. Hello, hi PO3. Nice to see you here. Yeah, so I have a lot of fun doing this. We've been doing this for almost 2 months now, which is crazy, and it's a lot of fun. If you are able to make it to the live stream, and you guys can chat in the chat, as you have seen me respond already, we can have a little conversation back and forth, as well as you can comment on the stories we talk about. If you are not able to make it to a live stream or you miss part of one, you can always rewatch the replay on my channel under the live tab. So these streams will always live in the live section of my channel. And yeah, hello, Jennifer. Welcome in. So with all that being said, make sure you're subscribed, like this video, like this stream. I also have a brand new paranormal investigation video out on my channel from last week. If you have not already, it is pinned on my channel. So that is a investigation I did with Paranormal XP. They also have their version of the collab on their channel too. So definitely check out that video after this, as well as check out Paranormal XP and send them so much love. And I think that's all my housekeeping. That's what I did with the last one. I watched the rest of it. Exactly. It's perfect. You know, if you join in late or you come for a little bit, then you have to leave or what have you. It's all these streams are available to rewatch whenever you want. So with all that being said, let's dive into today's spooky topic, which is haunted experience. Can you guys hear any like background sound, like music or like singing? Or is it silent? First off, I just want to make sure. It's kind of quiet. But anyone who's in the live chat, if you guys can hear it, all is good with background, silent background, we love it. Okay, that's perfect. That's what I love to hear. So for today's topic, we will be diving into haunted amusement parks and people's paranormal experiences, and real ghost stories that they've had at different amusement parks. So yes, no background noise. You are good. Beautiful. We love it. Okay, so let's dive right in to some haunted amusement parks. And then after that, we'll dive into people's personal stories. All right. So we obviously have to talk about the classic creepy carnival vibes. So, you know, that old school carousel music, the kind that sounds slightly off, slightly warped, like it belongs in a horror movie. There's a reason for that. Some of these carousels are over 100 years old. So at Dorney Park, there's the antique carousel built in 1921 by the Dentzel Carousel Company. Oh my God, that was a mouthful. And the legend says that after the park closes and Dorney Park, let me just double check where Dorney Park is. That is in Dorneyville, Pennsylvania. So, um, after the park closes, the legend says that a woman dressed in white can be seen riding it while the haunting music plays. Some believe that she's the wife of Daniel Muller, one of the carousel's master carvers, and apparently he carved a horse just for her. And the story goes that she became so attached to it that she never really left. Whether that's romantic or terrifying is completely up to you. I think it's a little bit of both. But with that, let's move on to Universal Studios in Hollywood. How did I just reach my step goal? I just reached my step goal. My watch just let me know. I'm sitting down. Um, yeah, so we're gonna move to Universal Studios in Hollywood because that is said to be haunted as well. The park officially opened in 1965, but the land has been used for filmmaking since the silent movie era. So there's a lot of history there. And where there's history, there is usually ghost stories as well. People claim to see the ghost of Lon Chaney, sometimes dressed as the Phantom of the Opera. Others talk about the spirit of an aviator who died in a plane accident back in 1915. And even employees working the Terror Tram during Halloween Horror Nights have reported hearing children laughing or footsteps when no one's around. Next up, abandoned parks. Abandoned parks are a different level of creepy for a variety of reasons, but there's a park in Japan called Gulliver's Kingdom. It only operated for about 4 years before shutting down in 2001, and for a while it just sat there kind of decaying, including this massive 100-foot statue of Gulliver tied down to the ground, rotting in the open air. Urban explorers who went there reported hearing laughter, seeing shadows move between the structures, and what makes it even more unsettling, it was right next to Akigara. I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, which is also known as Japan's suicide forest. And then there's the Six Flags Great Adventure. You hear Six Flags Great Adventure and you probably don't think that's haunted. It is. So in 1984, a tragic fire at the Haunted Castle attraction killed 8 teenagers. The ride was removed, but the area didn't exactly go quiet. Employees working nearby attractions, especially the bumper cars that replaced it, have reported hearing clicking sounds, disembodied laughter, and even full conversations after closing. And of course, shadows out of the corner of their eyes. Now, speaking of abandoned Six Flag parks, let's talk about Six Flags in New Orleans. That shut down after Hurricane Katrina in 2005 and has never reopened. It's heavily guarded, and urban explorers do still sneak in. Most of what they encounter are snakes. Ugh. Ah! My worst nightmare. I can do ghosts, I can do demons. Give me a snake, absolutely not. Um, Most of them encounter snakes and decay. And some claim they've heard children laughing or machinery starting up, even though the power's been cut there for years. And again, the classic shadow figure showing up in peripheral vision. Now, King's Island. This, I believe, is in Belgium. Let me just double check. King's Island, Belgium? Because there's a few. No, I think it's in Ohio. Oh no, I'm getting mixed up. It is in Ohio. I digress. Kings Island in Ohio. The next story is in Belgium. I'm jumping ahead of my little script here. So, Kings Island has its own legend. It was built near an old 19th century cemetery in Ohio. Visitors say they've seen a young girl in a blue dress wandering the parking lot before disappearing. Others talk about a spirit named Racer Boy, who's supposedly seen near the wooden coaster, the Racer, sometimes even inside the tunnels before vanishing as the train comes. Now in Belgium, there was a Doddy Park, a religious themed park that closed after a tragic accident in 2002. Once abandoned, it became a hotspot for explorers. Paranormal investigators who went in reported odd EMF readings and disembodied voices, along with the usual unexplained sounds and moving shadows. Crazy. Let's talk about Cedar Point. So, this is one of the most famous amusement parks in the US, sitting right on Lake Erie. The historic hotel breakers built in 1905, historic hotel breakers built in 1905 has a reputation for being haunted. Guests report hearing crying, footsteps, and even poltergeist activity in certain rooms, especially room 169. I was going to say 1690, but that's not correct. 169, where a legend says a woman named Mary took her own life. And interestingly enough, that same antique carousel from Dorney Park actually operated at Cedar Point at one time. And yes, reports of the Lady in White followed it there too. Then, of course, we have the infamous Walt Disney World. Duh. With 4 parks and decades of history, it's no surprise that there are legends there. People claim to see a maintenance worker's apparition on Pirates of the Caribbean. There are stories of shadow figures at the abandoned River Country Water Park and at Hollywood Studios' Tower of Terror. The irony there is not lost upon me. Some believe that paranormal activity is tied to a former cast member or even to the creepy dummy at the end of the ride. But the original Disneyland might take the crown. There's a long standing rumor that people have scattered ashes on the Haunted Mansion ride. Apparently, this has been confirmed. I was doing some research, and that is something that I'll touch on in someone's like very brief story in the personal stories here. But people apparently do this. They'll go into the Haunted Mansion ride and scatter ashes. It got so bad to the point where people, the employees after each ride, had to supposedly vacuum the ride in between each session because people were just tossing ashes everywhere, which is kind of disrespectful for a lot of reasons. But um, with that, besides that, so obviously you have all these ashes being spread, their remains, all the different hauntings that could possibly happen there. But there is said to be a little boy's apparition sometimes seen in the Haunted Mansion, like for reals. Guests also report seeing a red haired man in line for Space Mountain who will talk to them and then disappear before the ride launches. And so the question now becomes, are these just urban legends that grow over time? Are people spreading misinformation? Or do places filled with that much emotion, history, and also sometimes tragedy hold on to something? Let me know in the chat. Let me look through the chat right here. Make sure that I haven't missed anything. Hi, Melissa. Welcome in. Moving your arms. Hi. Against the law. Yeah. Oh, I'm assuming against the law is to scatter ashes at the Haunted Mansion. That's crazy. When I heard about that, I was like, excuse me? What do you mean? But yeah, so those are some of the haunted amusement parks, like active ones that you can still go to and abandoned ones as well. Could be the land prior to Disney. And obviously, I mean, you hear lots of stories, and I came across a lot of this actually when I was doing my research on this case, trying to find stories. I found a lot of people's horror stories at different amusement parks where obviously there's been tragedies. We know people have lost their lives on rides before because of, you know, malfunctions or improper installation of the person into the ride, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's the correct way to phrase it, but obviously there's tragedies that happen at amusement parks. People lose their lives, so it could be attached to that. It could be attached to the land prior. I've only investigated one abandoned park, but been trying to put together a collab for Lake Shawnee in West Virginia for years. Ooh, that sounds fun. You put steps on moving arms. Yeah. Oh, with my watch catching my extra steps. I'm just like running right now. Just getting my steps in. um yeah, that'd be so cool. I've yet to investigate any kind of abandoned or currently active amusement park, but that is a bucket list location for sure. Um no. So I got distracted. I've heard groups get a lot of EVPs there. Interesting. And you know what? That is probably one of my favorite pieces of paranormal because I haven't really gotten, like, a really solid EVP before. I've gotten some, like, minor ones, but when I see other people get EVPs, I'm like, "That is really cool," especially in a place like that where there's, like it's like an if you're especially if you're in an abandoned park, it's like there's no one else around and you're catching all these sounds, children laughter, like, ugh, chills. But that is probably some of the 'cause, I mean, with, like, all this different paranormal equipment, and obviously when you use them in conjunction with each other, it makes it a lot more legit. Um, but with EVPs in specific, I feel like that is some of the most damning evidence because when you hear like a voice or a laughter or something like that come through that recorder and there was nothing but silence when you were filming it, there's no explaining that. Like you caught something like physical in a sense. I don't know. I love EVPs. That's so cool. I hear pitter patter of paws, yeah. My husband just walked in to grab his laptop, and my dog was following him, so you heard a little bit of pitter patter there. I'd love to investigate an old carousel. I think the one at Greenfield Village in Michigan is close to 100. Ooh, and that's not far. I don't think. Depends on, I guess, where it is in Michigan, but, that would be really cool. I've only seen a, haunted carousel once, when I went to Griffith Park in Los Angeles. They have the carousel they have in Griffith Park is said to be haunted. I can't remember off the top of my head how old it is, but it is said to be haunted, and apparently when people have filmed different film projects there over the years, crew members will experience things, with that haunted carousel. But yeah, that would be a cool investigation for sure. I wonder what it's like when the park is closed. Literally, I always even, like, growing up, when I'd go to Wonderland or something, here in Canada, I always think about, like, "I wonder what it's like when this place is closed after dark," and it's funny, I actually worked at Wonderland for, like, a few months when I was 19, I think. I worked on Drop Tower, Wild Beast, and Nightmares, which are great rides, except for Wild Beast, that's a wild beast. Um, but there was a couple times that I was there, like, pretty late to close with everyone else, and it's, like, eerie, and you're still there with other people, but, like, it's eerie when, like, the park is shut down and you have to turn off all the rides and stuff. So being there when, like, there's absolutely nothing and, like, you can't hear, like, the hum of any of the equipment or anything like that, just chilling. I have seen the old carousel in Guelph Riverside Park. I wonder if it's haunted. I don't know what the history for it was, but when I saw it, I was like, "That looks creepy." Um, but with all that being said there, let's dive into some personal stories from people and their experiences at haunted amusement parks. So this story is first. Let me pull it up here. Okay. I worked at my local amusement park that apparently used to be a graveyard. At night when we closed, my job was to go check the rides and make sure there was no one hiding or, like, forgotten or left behind. Imagine that. Imagine just getting left behind on a ride. Anyways, this one ride, which was an indoor ride with animatronics where you'd sit and it would take you through this dark cave themed animatronic dialogue. I went to check up on it, and it was about pitch black. We had a light, but it was dull and not that bright. So as I get halfway, the point where the animatronics are, I start hearing a baby crying. I immediately bolted the other way and ran as fast as I could. And as I got to the entrance, which was where I was going towards, the lights turn on and the animatronics powered on. No one was there beside me. I dashed to the park exit and never worked there again. The place shut down in 2014. And this person's story, someone actually replied to it because they had kind of a similar story. So they said, "OMG, this reminds me exactly of what happened to this girl in a story I heard. Same scenario, basically, where she was training and had to go through a ride herself to check to see if everything is clear. There were other employees watching her via the cameras on the ride, but they noticed each camera was shutting off one by one as she was passing them. The girl said she then started hearing footsteps approaching her from behind in the pitch dark, and she screamed and ran. And she ran, as she ran, the footsteps sounded like they were sprinting towards her as well. She quit on the spot and gave them her ID. Crazy. This next story is actually interesting. I've heard about this ride being haunted too, but I thought it was at the one in Florida, but I digress. I know that the ride It's a Small World is haunted by something. This is the one at Disneyland in California. So I don't know if both It's a Small Worlds are haunted, but that is a creepy ride regardless. So I've only been to the one in Florida, but anyways, I swear, I sensed something there the whole time I was on that ride. People had a couple of scratches on them after exiting the ride, but couldn't explain the scratches. A ride attendant later told me that for some reason, people have reported odd things after being on the ride. Actually, sidebar, and I don't know if anyone has any other confirmation about this, but I think I also heard, does It's a Small World go over water? I'm trying to remember. There's a ride that goes over water. It might be Pirates of the Caribbean, but for some reason I thought it was It's a Small World. I don't know. Um, I've only been there once, and it was when I was younger, so I don't really remember, but I swear. Anyways, something about ashes being tossed in one of those rides too, whichever one has water. Pirates of the Caribbean definitely has water, but, um, along with Haunted Mansion, having people scatter ashes apparently in one of these other ones, people do that too. I don't know why. Anyways, um, dur, 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 dur. Da, da. Okay, another area of the park that's haunted is the Snow White Castle. I don't know what it is about that castle or the buildings on that main street area, but man, it has some odd vibes to it. That Tom Sawyer ride has some kind of energy about it too. I swear when I looked out at the water, I saw a young person out there. I blinked and looked again, but saw nothing. Creepy. This next story, I didn't experience this myself, but when I worked rides at Epcot, I had quite a few fellow cast members who were cross trained at Mission Space who experienced some paranormal things. It's rumored that the simulation rooms where the little boy died, as well as one where a woman died, are haunted. That's crazy. Usual stories I'd hear where the ride gets messed up easily or people see a figure. I had one cast member tell me they were working the closing shift and were in that room alone when they heard a child laughing. Another story was someone heard a woman scream when no one was there. Every coworker I asked who had worked the ride agreed that the place was haunted. That either they experienced something or always felt a strange vibe when they worked there. What? And here we go. This person says, I've heard the Haunted Mansion ride is, well, haunted because some people keep sprinkling ashes of their loved ones. Like I mentioned in the when we were going over all the different haunted amusement parks, yeah, we knew that one, but also aside from it's haunted beyond just that. Obviously, we talked about the little boy and then the red-haired man. Um, just check in here. Animatronics are creepy, and I think It's a Small World has a ton of them, and it sings that, like, annoying song. It's a small world after all. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I love Wild Beast rides. Did you Okay, my only issue with Wild Beast is it's so, like, aggressive. It's same with, Canadian Mindbuster, like, they're fun rides, but, like, they're so bumpy because it's a wooden coaster, um, and I don't know. It shakes me around too much and, like, it makes my head hurt, so I'm not a huge fan of those rides, but I love Nightmares and I love Drop Tower, so I was not mad about being, uh, assigned those rides when I got the job there. Um, but also, fun fact, this isn't haunted related, but it's Wonderland related. I'll tell it to you guys. Um, so I worked at Drop Tower. That was the only ride that I had been training to do ride operation, in that little booth where they, like, set you off. I'd been training to do those 2 for Wild Beast and Nightmares, but I hadn't fully been, um, alone on it. I just, like, kinda shadowed. I had done mostly, like, line organization and, like, checking people's seats, and the closing gate for Nightmares, and then Drop Tower, I Drop Tower was the only one I did, like, the actual activation booth for dropping people. And if you've ever been to Canada's Wonderland, and if you've ever ridden Drop Tower, and sometimes like when I was growing up, I'd go on that ride all the time. And you get to the top, and the person's always like, "Oh, like we're dropping you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever." But sometimes it doesn't like line up with like they just kind of surprise drop you. Fun fact about that is they are surprise dropping you. They don't have control over like you dropping at the top. So they like press all the buttons and stuff, send you up, and then the machine just does its thing. It just drops you. We don't have any control over if you drop. I don't know if they've changed it when I worked there, which was like over 10 years ago now. I don't wanna think about that. When I was dropping people, I just could speak to them at the top, and I'd be like, "Yeah, we're dropping you soon. Here we go, 3, 2, 1," and nothing would happen, and then they would just drop randomly. And it was just so fun because 'cause they'd get off the ride, they'd be like, "I can't believe she did that." I can't do roller coasters. I have a heart condition, so I need to be careful. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, if you have any kind of and there's every single ride that I've ever seen, they always have those things. It's like if you're pregnant, if you have heart conditions, if you have, um, something else. They have, like, a bunch of those things like that like warnings to not go on to, um honestly, most rides. I don't I'm, like, trying to think of maybe the carousels probably, but honestly, I would just be safe. They are fun. Honestly, I used to be able to do roller coasters a lot easier when I was younger. I think I went to Wonderland for the first time, since COVID a couple years ago, which was, like, pretty shortly after the pandemic, and I could not do the rides anymore, like, not like I used to anyways. Like, I think I went on a few and I was like, "I need to sit now." It's just too much. Anyways, continuing on with the stories. Actually, I think this might oh, no, we have 2 more left. Okay, so this one, I have had a paranormal experience in Pioneer Village in Lagoon Amusement Park. My dad told me the place where the carriages are is haunted. So when I was a teenager, a few of my friends and I went there and we were being dumb teenagers and decided to take photos sitting in the carriages. Totally not allowed. And in almost all of the photos, there were orbs of light around us. The same day, we were in the area near closing time, and there was absolutely nobody else in the village. And we all of a sudden heard and sounded like hundreds of voices talking and walking past us. The air was also super thick and musky, almost like we could see particles in the air. What's so eerie and creepy is that years later, none of us have any of the photos on our phones anymore. There's only one photo left of me, and it's the one that doesn't have the orbs, and we have had over 20 photos with the orbs in them. I still sometimes search my camera roll hoping I'll come across them, but they've totally disappeared. This is the only paranormal experience I've ever had where I was fully conscious, like not falling asleep or waking up from a dreamlike state, so it fully spooked me. It's pretty spooky. And this one is quite a lengthy story too. So before I dive into it, we'll just check here. Yeah, I had open heart surgery when I was really young, so I've been very energetic. That's wild. I'm glad you're doing okay, though. Yeah, definitely stay away from the rides. Honestly, one of my favorite things about amusement parks now is, like, the food. I love amusement park food. Cotton candy, give me all of that. Candy apples, love. Um, okay, moving on to this story. Although I've had several paranormal experiences in my life, I was always a skeptic. I tried to debunk my own experiences. Like, what if I was just tired? There must be a logical explanation. However, this experience made me a believer. A few years ago, I visited my friend who lives abroad. We decided to go inside an old amusement park that had been abandoned years ago. As a kid, my friend visited the place every week, so it was pure nostalgia for her. We snuck through a hole in the fence and entered the park. The place was taken back by nature, mostly overgrown, with a small swampy puddles everywhere. We were nervous about snakes hiding in the grass and about the big pack of feral dogs roaming the property, but the paranormal hadn't crossed our minds. Honestly, sidebar, me neither. That would be the last of my worries. But anyways, upon entering the park, the dogs bark at us, warning us to leave them alone, so we avoid the area where they are and go explore. We seem to be the only people there. After a good 30 minutes of exploring, we stumble upon an empty karaoke bar. The place feels off somehow, not like the other buildings we encountered. My friend explains that this building is not what it seems. Karaoke bars in her country are often a cover for alcohol consumption, which was illegal back then, and prostitution. She doesn't recognize the place though, which is weird since she spent a big part of her childhood at the park. We figure that it must have been a bit hidden away from the crowd since it was likely linked to illegal activity. The moment we entered the building, my attention was immediately drawn towards a creepy door with a broken glass panel. You could see that there was nothing on the other side, but somehow the darkness behind the door seemed more solid. I stared at it for at least a good 15 seconds before I tell myself to stop freaking out about a door. While we explore the first floor, I hear footsteps right behind me. Thinking it was my friend, I turned around, ready to make a stupid joke about her creeping up on me, and she isn't there. I see her at the other end of the room, at least 8 meters away from me. I chalk it up to weird acoustics and I don't tell her about it. Do you know that feeling when you get when people are staring at you? That's how the second floor felt. It was as if we walked into a crowded room, except there was nobody there. Like on the first floor, the darkness of some unlit area somehow seemed too dark, more solid. I became increasingly nervous, but don't tell my friends since I don't want to sound crazy. Soon my friend stopped in her tracks and said that she wasn't comfortable exploring any further. She later described that room as a black hole. She recalls feeling as if all her movements were slower than normal and her brain was foggy. This was right above the door that freaked me out so much. Back on the first floor, we feel silly for being nervous and try to overcome our fears. I decide to open a door adjacent to the freaky door, which was easier said than done. The door was stuck, and I had to put my weight behind it to get it open. We saw a glimpse of a small storage room before the door was slammed shut again. We almost made a run for it, but since we stubbornly didn't want to give in to our fears and be P words, we took a few more pictures of the room before we left. Once outside, we rationalize it by saying it must have been some sort of animal or a stray dog, maybe, but we're not convinced. Opening the door took some strength, so what animal could have closed it with such force? There was barely any space between the open door and the wall, so I doubt that it could have been a person hiding behind there. And we talk for a bit to lighten the mood, and we feel braver now that we're outside again. We decide to visit her favorite attraction next, the pirate ship. In the past, it would swing back and forth, and now we couldn't get it to move no matter how much we tried. We both pushed against it with our full body weight, and the ship wouldn't budge. We take a few photos while we chat about my friend's memories of the park. And all of a sudden, the pirate ship begins to move. Slow at first, so slow that I thought I imagined it. But then it starts swinging more clearly. Since we don't feel the creepy vibes that we felt at the karaoke bar, we decide to stay and watch. After a few minutes, my friend remarks that we should head back soon since she wouldn't want to be in this place after dark. Immediately after those words left her mouth, it gets darker, as if it was suddenly twilight. Remember the dogs who barked when we entered the park? They had been quiet since they realized we were not a threat, but now they go wild, barking, howling in the distance. My friend and I don't hesitate and make a run for it. We run through the dark, overgrown park while the dogs go crazy. It was surreal. Once we reach the hole in the fence, we crawl out as fast as we can, and suddenly we feel safe again. I swear to God, once outside, the sun was shining bright again. We looked up to see if it was just a well timed cloud that moved in front of the sun, but we couldn't see anything. To this day, my friend is convinced that something told us to leave, since it got dark right after we decided to go home once it was getting dark. I don't believe in those kinds of theories, but feeling wise, it definitely felt as if we went through some sort of gateway when we entered the park. As if it was its own little world. The contrast was just that big. Back home, we talked about our experiences. Apparently, we both felt uneasy in that karaoke bar, long before we actually voiced those feelings. I told her about the creepy vibe I got from the door and showed her a picture that I took of it when we first entered the building. She tells me she felt the same thing and I took a picture just before we left. Upon comparison, we realized that the door is cracked open a little bit in my photo, but in hers, it's half open. These photos were taken 5 minutes apart, and it seems very unlikely that someone snuck in to open it while we were on the second floor. The dog pack was in a different area of the park, and there was no wind that day. I don't have any explanation, but given our other experiences at the park, this creeped me out even more. Like I said, I've experienced strange things before, but nothing like this. In the hour that we spent at the park, I went from a skeptic to a believer, and I would love to go back someday and see what happens. What? The doctor says I was only supposed to I was the doctor says I was only supposed to surpass about 12 to 15 years old, I believe. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. So it's a miracle. Oh, I'm glad that you're doing better, and I'm glad that you're doing okay. Um, yeah, wow, wasn't that quite a story? That one was kinda what inspired this whole live today. I was like, I wonder if there's other stories like that. I knew other, amusement parks were haunted, and I was just curious. So, that I saw that story, and then I was like, "Let me do some digging," and yeah, we got some spooky stories tonight. I was in the newspaper. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Melissa, wow. Well, I'm glad you're okay. This story was wow insane. It really was, wasn't it? Like, I don't know, especially it just gave me chills, and, like, with the darkness, like, when you're walking through, as soon as you talk about, like, "Oh, we'll leave when it's dark," it gets dark, and you would think, "Okay, maybe it's just poor timing." You leave the park, and the sun is shining in, and there's no clouds in sight. That just seems like divine timing, like something her guardian angels, I don't know, something was guiding her out of that park at that time, and the dogs being silent and then start barking again. Animals can sense things, we talked about this before, my dog, for example. Um, yeah, so it all seems a little bit too strange to be a coincidence. Yeah, exactly, especially those wild dogs. But those were all the stories that I have for today. I know we have some about 20-ish minutes left of the stream. So for the rest of it, honestly, we'll just kind of hang out, we'll chill. I'll tell you guys my plans for the rest of the night. So I did the haunted forest in Japan is insane. I feel like I should do a whole video on that, or a little hold on, let me grab it. Give a girl a podcast mic. And we're starting a podcast. I just hit myself in the mouth with this. It's not plugged in right now. I also don't know if I can podcast or live stream with this, but I probably could. I just have to plug it in. But I got a podcast mic, and after this stream, I'm filming my very first podcast episode. It will live on this channel, so you guys can tune in. I'm just calling it the Hauntingly Krista Show because it's my show. So, yeah, you guys can watch it here if you want to watch the video version. So it's just gonna kind of be set up like this. Got some good audio, and if you are driving somewhere, if you're on the go, what have you, and you or you don't feel like watching the video version on the channel, it will be available to listen to on Spotify, and I'm going to try Apple Music and other audio platforms as well, but for sure it will be on Spotify because I listen to stuff on Spotify. And I will see if I can distribute it on other platforms as well. But video version with good audio will be here on this channel, and you can listen on podcast platforms. I'm super excited about this. Not much is changing, and I kind of was hinting to this on the last few streams that I was working on something to give you guys more content. And when I was toying with the idea, people have asked me for a while to do a podcast, and I'm like, oh yeah, like maybe. Um, and it kind of dawned on me because I don't do paranormal investigations every single week, but as you guys know, we do twice weekly live streams and we do weekly videos. And some of those are going to be paranormal investigations, obviously, whenever I'm able to do paranormal investigations. And some are going to be sit down and talking about haunted places and ghost stories and all the things. And I figured that that was the best format. With that being said, I don't want to throw off schedules, and I also want to bring you guys more content. So, how the content schedule is going to work is we'll do the twice weekly live stream as we have been doing. So every Monday and Thursday, 7 p.m. EST, I'll be here talking to you guys for the Haunting Hour Live. And then every single week, you guys will see which day this week, because this week will be the first episode of Hauntingly Krista Show. So every single week at the exact same day will be Hauntingly Krista Show here on YouTube or on Spotify, wherever you want to listen. And then when there's a paranormal investigation, you guys will also you'll get a second video that week. So there will always be a Hauntingly Krista podcast episode out every single week on this channel. If there's a paranormal investigation, you guys will just get 2 videos that week on top of the live streams, if that makes any sense. So you'll just be getting more content. And I really liked that. And it gives the channel more structure. It gives you guys more spooky things to watch and listen to. And yeah. Haunted Ontario castles. Ooh, yeah, there's like Casa Loma. My aunt and I went there. My aunt and I had a crazy, I talked about this in a TikTok once, but we had the same experience. My aunt Randy, we had a similar experience there, and we both got pushed in the tunnels underneath Casa Loma. And people don't know that Casa Loma is haunted, which is wild to me, but it is very haunted. And that was one of the very first experiences that I had where something touched me, specifically shoved. Congratulations to Great Mike. Your cousin Jay has one. Does he have the Blue Yeti? It's a good mic. I'm very excited. I've been like learning how to use it and everything, but it seems pretty straightforward. But I'm excited. The Hauntingly Krista Show. Go, 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 Krista. Yes. Casa Loma is great. Oh, yeah. There you go. You already commented it. I'm like catching up with comments right now, so I'm a little behind. Yeah, no, I'm so excited for you guys as well. Castle Loma and Dundurn in Hamilton. So I want to investigate Dundurn Castle so badly. It is so haunted. I've reached out to them. Dundurn Castle, supposedly, at least I don't know, the person that I spoke to, they said that they don't want to be associated with hauntings. I'm like, okay, erase the internet then, because the internet knows you as being haunted. So I don't know, maybe one day. Casa Loma, I know you can investigate, but it comes with a hefty price. And I heard some interesting stories about like behind the scenes of that, that it doesn't even make the money that you'd spend to investigate Casa Loma worth it. So I don't know. Yes, but he has silver in it. Oh, interesting. Oh, probably at like this part. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. So right after I finish this stream, I will be filming this first podcast episode. And again, sometime this week, you guys will see that come up. And I'll show you guys a little sneak peek of my artwork because I'm excited. My voice is cracking. Where are you? There you are. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. Kind of. Oh, God. The Hauntingly Krista Show. Just me with podcast mic and a glass of wine as a ghost. It's cute. I love it. But yeah, I'm excited. So this very first episode that I'm doing for the Hauntingly Krista Show is going to be my childhood paranormal experiences. So I've talked about it before in like odds and ends places, but this is kind of going to be just like one episode where I can sit down and tell you guys growing up in a haunted house and like the different paranormal experiences I had as a child. And I'm excited. And I thought that was a good place to start for this new show, but like new series, really, because at the end of the day, like going back into my other videos where I'm sitting down and talking to the camera about different haunted places or paranormal experiences, there's really no difference besides the fact that obviously now we have a mic and get some good quality that I'm proud to put on a podcasting platform as well as YouTube. And it will be longer episodes and just structured differently, different like format, right? I work at Castle. I'm a security guard in my 20s. I've been pushed in the tunnel and some secret staircase. Had some shadow person go through it. You've been pushed in the tunnels too. That's crazy. I got pushed, and I think Randy, you did it as well. It was in the same place, like on the stairs. And when you're in the tunnel, you go up a little flight of stairs. That's where I got pushed, and I was like prepared. I think it was on the stairs for my aunt too, because I remember I was like prepared when I was at the stairs because I was like, what if I'm pushed here? And then I was. Um, that is super creepy. But honestly, what a great job. Like being a security guard, just like walking through a haunted castle in your 20s. That's an awesome, awesome gig. Oh, near the stables, that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Keg Mansion Steakhouse. Keg is haunted. Um, I have reached out to them as well. I am hoping one day they give me access. But whenever I've reached out to them, they're just like, yeah, like come in. Like we have ghost stories. They have like a little sheet of ghost stories that you can get at the front desk. Front desk is not the word. The hostess stand. And they're very open about their hauntings there, but it's a restaurant. Restaurants are very, very hard to investigate because especially like ones that are bars, because they'll be open late and then you have to have last call and then they have to clean up and everything and leave. I investigated 2 haunted bars in my career. I've done one in Barrie. It was the Saloon and Eatery. It's something else now. Um, but at the time it was the Saloon or something like that. And we started our investigation at 2 in the morning. And the other time I investigated a haunted bar was the Franklin House in Streetsville, Mississauga. And that one we started at 3 in the morning. And oh my God, I'm like, I love investigating. I love investigating at night, but like I also love going to bed at like a reasonable hour. So um I'm hoping one day the keg lets me in there. First there was a puff of air and then it was at the bottom of the stairs. The leader told me that she saw me get pushed. Oh yes, I forgot about that. The leader actually did witness it. Yeah, very scary. Absolutely you would. I think it was called Brickworks. Yeah, the Evergreen Brickworks in Toronto. That sounds about right. Is that place haunted too? Is that in the Distillery District? Or am I thinking of something different? The Distillery District is haunted too. I know that for a fact. Um, they do ghost tours there, I believe. No, not that one. Okay. Hmm. Brickworks. I'm not sure. There's Oh, there are like what is it called? Is it Cheltenham? Hold on, let me Google it. Cheltenham Brickworks. Yeah, there's the Cheltenham Brickworks in Caledon. They're like these old, abandoned, gated off brick buildings. I don't know exactly what the history is, but those are said to be haunted too. Um, so Caledon's like close to Toronto, so maybe that. I don't know. But yeah. So, first episode of podcast will be my childhood paranormal experiences, my experience living in a haunted house. So I'm excited to share all of that with you guys. And then um, the next one after that will be an expose, if you will, the truth, dun dun dun, about Sam and Colby. Makes it sound way so dramatic. I love Sam and Colby. I think that they are great content creators. It's actually you'll see, like, that episode title or, like, in the thumbnail, something like that. It will be something about, like, the truth about Sam and Colby. So when you see that come out, I think that's gonna be my second episode, or my second or my third of the Haunting Like Krista show. But essentially what that episode is going to be about is how to be a ghost hunter in 2026, specifically a ghost hunter that's a content creator, because I want to spill all the secrets to you guys and teach you guys how to get into haunted locations, because I've gotten access to some pretty cool locations over the years of me doing this. And even when it's like even when I wasn't getting access to locations and I was still going out and ghost hunting at haunted places, I don't know, I have a lot of secrets and, like, tips and tricks to share with you guys about how to be a ghost hunter, and also how to be ghost hunter content creator. So it will kind of be a mix of both. And then if you want to be a content creator, ghost hunter, then everything is in there. But if you just want to be a ghost hunter, you don't really care about making content, then the tips are in there as well. And yeah, but I'll be, like, referencing a lot of Sam and Colby and, like, how the things that they've done, because they are the most popular, like, digital paranormal investigators. I think that they're at 15 million subscribers now at this point, or something crazy like that. Wild. I just ate my hair. But yeah, so I will have guests. I will have guests. Um, I have a lot of different friends, some of which are in this chat right now. I have a lot of different friends that are in this space that have been paranormal investigators for a really long time, that are psychic mediums. I have friends that run seances, and uh, also different psychic mediums of different types of specialties, I guess you could say. Like, I know an animal communicator and things like that. So you guys will see me talk to a lot of different people about a lot of different spooky things, as well as me just talking to myself sometimes. So uh yeah, hold on. Let me catch up with the comments here. I've done a lot of bars and restaurants here in Windsor, Essex. You know what's interesting? I don't know if I know of a lot out in Windsor. I know the Duff Bobby House. I've investigated the Duff Bobby House in Windsor, which is surprisingly, I was shocked by the level of activity I got there. I was there for 2 hours. Got a lot. But interesting. You're gonna have to tell me some of those restaurants. Um, for Castelloma, that tunnel was apparently utilized to carry World War One ammunition, so likely high energy in that area. Absolutely. You grew up in Caledon East. The Boston Mills Cemetery is haunted. Prohibition was big here. Cool investigations. Oh, yeah, big time, big time, big time. Um, I need a communicator for my dog. LOL. Angel Morgan, pet psychic. Spelt exactly how it sounds. Angel Morgan. She is phenomenal. I love this. I really enjoyed the layout of your show. Love your show. Thank you, PO3. I really appreciate that. Um, hello. Do you want to say hi? No. Do you hear the pitter patter of the dog? He was walking up to the door, just following around my husband like a lost puppy. um, but yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys always, like, being here and chatting in the chat and hanging out with me every single week. It's a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, what else? And I'm trying to think. Oh, did I have, like, a list of I was coming up with ideas, but I can't remember where I put them. Because I'm thinking of shit. Just like I'm just like when I'm here with you talking and, like, hanging out, I like to give you guys, like, sneak peeks of things that are coming. Oh, those okay. Here we go. Actually, while we're talking. Of course. What time will the show start? So the Haunting Liquors show, the new podcast. That I haven't come up with the time yet. It's gonna come out this week, and it's not gonna be live. So that one will be just like it will be the video of the week, essentially. And because right now I'm posting kind of randomly throughout the week. Sometimes you'll see a video on Thursday. Last week was Thursday. I think the week before that was Tuesday. So I just kind of been giving you guys a weekly video and just kind of pumping it out. Um, but for this new series, there will be a structure. I just don't know. I'm filming it after this. It just won't be live. And then I'll have to edit it. So it probably, I'm assuming it's Monday night, maybe Wednesday night, maybe Thursday night. Um, or I might do it in the morning. I'm still debating because podcasts, I feel like podcasts specifically, because if you guys want to listen to it, like I said, it will be available to watch on YouTube or you can listen to it on a podcast platform. And I know that for me personally, I like to listen to podcasts a lot during the morning, like when I'm getting ready for work or if I'm driving somewhere at the beginning of the day. So I'm toying around with what time to release it, but again, it won't be live, so you guys can play it at whatever point you want. Um, but I will make a community tab post on my page about which day it's going to be on as soon as I'm kind of getting close to the end of editing, but it will be out this week. We'll know for sure this week what the new schedule for that will be, but that will be the new consistent schedule. So we'll know exactly. We have obviously the schedule for the live stream, so you guys know when to come and watch this, and then we'll have this, and then whenever there's paranormal investigations, that will be the bonus video of the week that just kind of comes in randomly. I was supposed to have the Milton Town Hall paranormal investigation up for you guys this week. It's looking like it might be next week because I still have to shoot some thumbnail and promo pics with Erica, who is my collab-e on the investigation. So we still have to do that. So it's looking like that one might be out next week, but again, that will be a bonus video. So you guys will still get this weekly and then paranormal investigations when possible. It will still be the same page. So you will, the Hauntingly Krista show is just going to live on Hauntingly Krista on this channel right here. So you guys don't have to go anywhere else to watch it. It will just be right here. The only thing that will be different is that there will be an added platform to listen. So because it's going to be a podcast, if you guys want to listen because you're driving somewhere, you can tune in on Spotify. So I will obviously link that and stuff I'll link it probably in every single video on YouTube. That I think that makes sense. But I'll also put it into the community tab once I have everything settled. I have the Spotify page currently, but I don't. It's being weird. It says that when I'm trying to like look for it on my own Spotify, it says it's not available in the region. So I think I have to upload an actual episode first. So once I have that live, I will share it with you guys here. But yeah, so that's going to be the only thing that changes. You'll still be able to watch and listen right here on my channel, but you can also listen on Spotify and hopefully Apple Podcasts and stuff too. You guys will know as soon as I know, but it's just more places to possibly listen. So otherwise you guys can just tune in here. But yeah, I think we're at the end of the haunting hour. With that, that's all I have for you guys today. This hour actually went by really, really fast. Which, and honestly, like it never like drags on, but sometimes it's just like slower. But to this week, it went by. I felt like we just started. But we will be live again on Thursday at 7 p.m. EST as per usual, and you guys can tune in then. Again, this week you will have the very first video here on this channel for the Hauntingly Krista show. Thank you so much, PO3. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you so much, Randy and Harry. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Thank you, Melissa. Love you. Oh my God. Thank you, Jennifer. Love you. Ah, you guys are the best. Oh my God. You seriously, you guys make my day. if I didn't have you guys here talking with me, I would be so bored out of my mind. So I love that you guys spend your evenings with me. I really do. Thank you so much. Um, but I will see you on Thursday live. I will see you with the new series this week and a new paranormal investigation soon. And yeah. I think that's it. I like ran out of things I was doing. Like, I'm like, did I do all my thing? Oh, subscribe. Yeah, I was like, there we go. I was like going through my brain right there, like, what are all my housekeeping things right now? Like the video, subscribe, comment, all the things. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Stay safe, stay cozy, and until next time, stay spooky. Bye, guys.